Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris here, cgaviator, your resident ex-Tornado GR4 pilot and real-world T-7A instructor, or at least I was. So I've got some experience behind me, and in this video I'm going to be flying the T-7A Red Hawk by Top Mach Studios for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Wow, that was a mouthful. But this is a pre-release version, so the usual caveat exists that bugs may be apparent, things may change depending on when you're watching this video. There may be updates, but the message here is check the social media outputs and the product page of Top Mach Studios before buying this aircraft to make sure you know what comes with it at the time of release and what updates are work in progress or have been already done, depending on when you're watching this video. But what an incredibly good looking aircraft. I mean, look at the textures on this. Crisp, clear, love the little details on the outside, the tags, the flags, the red gear, the avionics bay that's open there. If you have a look underneath, good sign of developers' attention to details. The undercarriage, we've got Michelin tyres here. I have to chuck some Goodyears on there eventually. But yeah, lots of attention to detail. Let's look up close. I mean, look at that, scratches. Really, really fine work. Well done, Top Mach Studios. Love it. Yeah, that looks good. There's animations on the outside which we'll have a look at during the startup. I'll follow the checklist as best I can, or as best I can be bothered with, but the idea of this is not an instructional video, it's a have a look-see, throw it around and give you some top tips as we go. So here we are on the inside. I've already switched the battery on because that gives you access to the upfront control display, UFCD. If you go to system control, that's where you can control the different external features. You've also got an EFB if you want with a Garmin 3000 presentation, should you wish to play with that. If we get rid of the ladder, we can put the maintenance platform on. We'll put the tow bar on as well for a look-see. I mean, look at that. That is a lot of stuff. The only thing missing here is a set of tools that we can actually tinker on the aircraft with. Enough of that. Let's switch that off. The brakes are on, so that's all cool. There are also some external power units, but for some reason, I don't know how I've done it, but something I've done stops them showing. They normally show, and I can't be asked to reset the simulator again. But they are there, I promise. Cool. So this is the inside of the T-7A. It looks fantastic. It's very clean. It's very new, of course, because it's only just coming into service. Or let me know down in the comments when it's due for in-service date. That'd be interesting to know. But you can see it's dominated by this big, large area display, so a LAD, very much like the F-35, big screen. And then the upfront control display where you can set up most things. And then if track IR will let me, you can have a little look around. So there's the external power, you've got volume switches, you've got the throttle. If you find you can't, and that's the alert to say I put the power forwards without setting stuff up. But if you find the throttle's not moving, here is the catch to release it if you want it. That's what it is, or that's where it is. So that works now. Here you've got the engine APU and engine crank, FCS, you've got lighting exterior here, you've got your switches for electronics, there's generator, there's auxiliary power, leave those on, there's the parking brake, landing gear, leave it down, 3 greens. You've got a couple of different displays here, setups. You can change the individual items as well. If you click here, there's a little tiny thing here. You can say track up and north up. Interestingly though, I can get this to do track up. I cannot get the nav display to do track up, which is kind of strange, but there we go, we'll work with it. And then you've got the engine instrumentation to the right hand side, you've got a backup attitude indicator here. Down the right hand side you've got your stick, you've got a movable armrest, oxygen, you can switch it on, but then you hear someone breathing all the time and I don't want that, so we'll switch that off. BOS, you've got bleed air, you've got cabin pressure, hot, cold, and then you've got your interior lighting switches. So very, very clean indeed. In the UFCD, and there's a lot of detail here. The manual's okay. It gives you a lot of the what, not necessarily the how, because it's not as intuitive as you might hope. But here's the system control. If you want to set up the exterior elements, you can type in letters here. I'm not sure how much of the GPS waypoint functionality is implemented, nor am I going to do it now, so check the product page if you want the latest for that. Autopilot information, I've managed to get it to do a heading hold. I've not managed to do a right lot else, so that is not the focus of this, but it has got autopilot. It hasn't got auto throttle. Here's your heading set, you've got VOR. The ILS interestingly shows you your bearing to the ILS beacon, and this is your ILS. So it's kind of weird. I haven't figured out how to change the course bar, and if I do, I'll put it down in the description. If you know how, please let me know, because I'm not sure how to set that up. Joker, bingo, yes, got all that. You can change what your nav source is, fair enough. And this button down here with the red, yellow and blue will tell you what your caution warnings are. So you can see the rear seat, ejection seat, front seat, all that stuff. In fact, whilst I think about it, here we are in the back seat, and it is replicated just the same as the front, which is pretty cool. Normally you'd expect to see some switches to front position, so the front cockpit controls it. I'm not sure how they set it up in the T7, so I'm not going to say whether that's right or wrong. But that's the rear cockpit. Alright, let's finish up here. What else we got? I think we're pretty much there. We've got some data in that page. And in the HUD, if we go to HUD, you see it's a HUD here. If you get F22, we'll change it to a F22 style, apparently. You can then go FLIR video. The FLIR is just a flat map of the ground. I think it's not proper FLIR. And then synthetic video from your Garmin type deal is there. But we'll put it back to nav landing, I think. In fact, whilst I'm here, air to air looks pretty cool with the Pipper. And you've got air to ground. Not sure what that does, whether that's across there. No, not sure. So that's a very, very quick look at the up front control display. Let's start this thing up. When it starts up, there's some exterior animations that will be here, so we'll try and jump into that when we get the APU running. So I will skip over the interior inspection because we've pretty much done that and we've started putting the power on. Switch the lights off. There we go. So interior DC power on. Battery power's on, aux power's on, yes, landing gear down through greens we've done. Parking brake is on, that's this switch down to the lower left. APU start, we'd have a look around, check with the ground crew. APU power switch to on, ready light to illuminate, so that's the APU switch here. Let's go for it. See the flames. Pretty cool. And that's the APU running. If you go to the caution warnings, you see APU on, and you can see the green light down here. Bleed air goes to on, that's the switch here. Cockpit lighting, no. Display lighting is fine. Battery voltage, right hand side, yeah, that looks fine. Hydraulic system, I'm not even going to dig into it. Test the fire warning lights. Oh, I saw the button for that, but I can't for the life of me remember, so I'm not going to do it now. Canopy closed and locked, probably good because it's bloody noisy. I think I read in the blurb that that volume change will happen later, or they'll adjust it so it's more representative of actually shutting this. So shut, locked. Don't know where the light is to say it's locked, but that is locked by the looks of it. And that's APU start. Now we're on to engine start. So engine crank is this switch down here. On the right hand side, down here you can just about see the N2 winding up. Wait for the positive fuel flow and then we'll move that throttle forwards. At least I believe that's correct. There's the fuel flow. There's the throttle. Then the N1, the RPM, the N1 are the same thing. And then the EGT will start going up. And it'll do its thing. I'm not going to sit there and watch it spool up, but we'll just say it'll work. Once that's started, then wait 30 seconds and switch the APU off. Cool. Before taxi checks. Engine instruments, fine. Oxygen we're not going to do. Navigation equipment check, I'm not going to do. We're just going to do a VFR flight. Fuel quantity. Now I haven't figured out how to set the fuel up here, but I have keybound. My F key puts full fuel in, so that's my cheat. What else do we need to do? Engine anti-ice? No, we don't need to do that. Wind defog, speed brake. Speed brake you can tell is in because you can see the little box on top of the velocity vector. That's your speed brake. Speed brake, lovely stuff. Good looking jet. What else we got? Position lights, check to flash. Let's do some of that. fact, let's put anti-cols on now whilst we're at it. Some of that, some of that. So that's lighting. Oil chucks away, and we're good for taxiing. Taxi lights go on. Brake hold. We'll switch off and we can start taxiing and doing our thing. So 30 seconds, our RPM is stable at 24. That's pretty low. The T-38, that would idle about 45 to 50. But we will switch off the APU. The green light should go out. This APU on light should go out in the warning section. There we go. And then we've got ejection seats to do. So front one is live. Back one is live. And now we've just got the parking brake left. Tidy. Let's get going. Park brake off. Oh, it looks so cool. Taxiing, we'll do the brake checks. Yes, cool. FCS function, not sure how to do that. Not going to bother. Speed brake, open and closed. We've done that once already. Oxygen supply, we're not going to do. And anti-coals, I've already put on. Happy days. Dee-dee-dee. There's a takeoff trim button. I wonder if that does anything. But I think we are now good to go. Underlight, live. Let's do this. There's the takeoff. In the manual it suggests that you rotate at 125 knots. You've set about 7.5 degrees nose up, same as the T-38. And you should lift off at 150 knots. In the T-38 it's rotated at 140 and lift off about 165. Alright, takeoff, mid-power setting, checking engine response is all good. Nice. Okay, what are we looking at? 125, rotate, oh, very sensitive, 7.5 degrees. Climbing, gear up. 260 knots is the limiting speed for moving the gear. 230, I'll bring the AB out. Gear looks like it's up. If you want afterburner, by the way, that is indicated down here. It says red AB, so that's nice. I like that. 300 knots. I'll pitch to maintain 300 knots. Well, we got about 25, 27 degrees nose up, and then we're off. We are up and out of here. Looking cool. That looks so nice. Yeah, Shepherd Air Force Base. We're not flying procedurally anywhere. We're just kind of cruising along. Let's have a look up here. What have we got? We will go autopilot master mode. You can click heading hold. It should give you your current heading or altitude. Sorry. I haven't figured out how to change that. 6,000 doesn't appear to want to. There we go. Heading, we can change heading, let's say 030, heading lock, master mode's on, and nada. Approach heading, apparently approach heading is 257.52, kind of weird. Let's try that again. I didn't notice that do that. Alright, so if you put heading lock in and then dial in the heading, maybe that'll work out for you. But there you go, autopilot-ish. Enough of that. That's more than enough. We're going to go back to Shepherd Air Force Base to do some aerobatics after we've done some low level. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. So flying this aircraft, it's really, really, really smooth. It's got autopilot trim, it's got AOA limiting, it's got G limiting. You could throw this thing around and it's very, very forgiving. So I'm sat here. In fact, if I go to HUD en route, We've got our rad out display here, 250 feet. Nicely done. Oh, hello. Good grief. Nice. I like that. I absolutely wasn't looking out for them. But it's really easy to fly low level because you put the velocity vector on the horizon, you set the power for the speed that you want, and you are cruising. Absolutely cruising. Nice, 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 nice. Oh, it feels like it's cheating with this whole auto trim business. But so simple. So simple. I'm going to have to find a way to switch that off. I do not want Betty telling me off every 5 minutes. Alright, I think that is enough low level. Going up. Anyone seeing an airfield around here? There's the Red River. So I think Shepherd is this way. Let's see if we can get this thing supersonic on our way back. Yeah, there's Shepherd Air Force. Look at that view. Lovely. From back seat? Yeah, that's about right. Can't see anything out the front. Actually, the visibility is not half bad. A lot better than the T-7A, that is for sure. Got that weird thing where the HUD glass in the front's really zoomed in when you're back here, but I think that's standard. Alright, we are coming up on Mach 1. We are supersonic. Oh. Nice. Alright. That's enough of that. Bit of supersonic. Let's go back and do some aerobatics. We'll go for about 500 foot off the ground, so that gives us, at Shepherd Air Force Base, 1,500 feet. Orientation is 333 to 153. And I'll just throw it around, get you an idea of what this thing is like to fly. I think my perception is it's very, very capable, maybe even a little too capable. But you can let me know what you think down below. 500 feet-ish, there we go. Let's get to 400 knots. I'll do a few manoeuvres inside the cockpit, a few manoeuvres outside the cockpit. Seems about right. Burners in, up we go. You can go full backstick, it'll G-limit you to 8, but we're going for about 5. It's got good high alpha handling, so if you pull the stick really far back, all you'd find is that over the top of the loop, your turn radius reduces so much that you end up really high above the ground. So try and keep that nose rate tracking smoothly as you do a loop. Should have taken the burner out well early there, but that's okay. Here's backstick, full backstick. Speed's washing off very quickly. Here we are at the stall. I'll just keep the turn coming. So this is full backstick with afterburner, 130 knots. 110 knots. Doesn't want a wing drop, which is absolutely fair enough because these things don't tend to want to do that. 100 knots, so that is full backstick, full burner, 100 knots, and holding at 30 alpha. What I'll do now is I'll take the burner out, I'll be gentle with it, and I'll try and do some high alpha flying down the runway. No brake out. I That's cool. That's very cool. Look at those control surfaces. That looks really nice. I should really do it in cockpit. I said I'd do it inside first. 70 knots. Going down a bit though. Pop that speed brake in and pull the nose up. So now full AB, 50 degrees nose up and accelerating. Like a rocket ship. Is that right? 100. We're accelerating. AB 55 degrees nose up. No, holding steady there. Wow, look at that. Let's go over 4,500 feet, so that's 3,500 feet. Alright, let's do some stuff from outside the cockpit. I know. Alright, for those of you that like to fly from the outside, here we are. I think it looks slightly better if you look from the side, to be honest. That's cool. The max rate, full backstick. Still got control of the nose, so I can use my ailerons to get that nose up. That's cool. Is that high? I mean, can you get much more high up than that? You can if you had thrust vectoring, but not in this thing. Very cool. Right, I think it's now time to land this thing. Alright, I wanted to dive in and just show you the night lighting on this aircraft because it's definitely worth checking out. And actually, look at that. Shepherd Air Force Base, bit of mist. Loving the atmospherics in Flight Sim 2024. Very nice. But this is what it looks like. With the back panels lit, you've got dimming on all of the digital displays. It'd probably go down a bit further than that if you wanted it to, which is cool. Add brightness down, yeah, some of that, UFC down, yeah, you can make it really dim, which is nice because you don't want these distracting things in the background when you've got views like that. The lighting switches are down to the right hand side, so you can have a floodlight as well. So there's a floodlight. Very easy to use, I have to say, so that's cool. There's the instrument panel. Oh, wow, that is pretty nice. We're liking that a lot. There we go, that's night lighting. Alright, here we go. We're coming in for about a 400, 450 knot, running a brake. 500 feet up off the deck, we'll go downwind at 1800 feet above ground level. Approach speeds for this, the manual suggests about 140 knots, less than half gas. And about 10 alpha for the landing is what we're looking for. Quite a lot of reflections in the canopy, is a little bit distracting. Okay, here we go. Idle, air brake, looking for 1800 feet. Less than 300 knots, you can have the gear down at 300 knots, but to travel the gear you need less than 260. Downwind at 330. Looking alright, still getting my altitude up. Gear travels. Auto flaps in this thing. There's the gear. Looking for about 160 knots for the final turn will do me. 150 feet low. Doing alright. Do I need to change the HUD? HUD landing for what it's worth. Alright, final turn. I'll do the final turn of beam this bit, I think. Bit slow, bit low. I mean, come on, it looks fantastic. That's awesome. Right, fly the aircraft. What are we at? We're at 140 knots, a bit slow. Halfway round, a little bit high. We'll fix all of that. This is, I mean, it's really simple to fly this aircraft around the circuit. Really easy, very smooth, very capable. Won't bite you in the ass. Okay, looking for a 3-wire, I think. Looking for a speed that gives us 10 AOA. They're a bit fast. Looking for about 7.5 degrees up initially, and then trimming that up to, yeah, about 7 degrees nose up. Okay, we're about there, a bit slow now, 120, 125 knots. Had to do that from outside on the basis that, oh, not the basis that I couldn't replay it. Right, if you want to do aero braking, you want 10 degrees nose up, gives you 10 alpha by definition, you're on the runway. You can get away with 11, but any more than that and you'll scrape the can off the back. How cool does that look? Now I do note that you can aero brake all the way down to, well, 50 knots, 40 knots. Quite a low speed, but let's put the nose down. And that's it. So what do I think? I think this aircraft looks absolutely fantastic. I think it flies brilliantly. I think it might be a little bit too capable, but I have no basis on which to suggest that at all. It might be just that good, but in the aerobatics section you'll note that I could really throw that thing around, which makes it good fun as well. Absolutely brilliant fun to throw around and do aerobatics in. Brilliant fun to throw around and do some low level. The systems, I am too new at using them, and I couldn't find what I needed in the manual to confirm whether A, they were implemented correctly, or B, they worked correctly. So I'm not going to draw any conclusions on the systems themselves. That's probably down to the fact that I'm very novice, but the caveat is look at the product page. If they make the manual available prior to download, read that to see what's available and what works. But otherwise, would I get this if it was coming out and it was still work in progress after release, as a lot of them are because they keep developing them after the fact? I would absolutely get this because it looks good. Because it flies very satisfactorily. I mean, it's such a joy to fly. Anyway, that is that. First video back after a while. I hope it's good. If you liked it, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've got any questions, I'll try and answer them. I can't guarantee I can get around to them because my time is very, very precious at the moment. But thank you for watching. Until the next time, take care.